Before you made a single decision today, someone already decided something about you. Not what you said, not what you wore, because of your eyes. In the first half second of contact, the brain runs a scan. Eye color, face shape, safe or threatening, warm or cold, attractive or forgettable, all of it processed before a word leaves your mouth. And science has confirmed this judgment carries real weight. Certain eye colors trigger trust on sight. Others create a completely different kind of attention. Some make people look twice without understanding why. You have been broadcasting this signal your entire life. Today, you find out exactly what it says. We are going through every eye color that exists, from the one carried by 79% of humanity to colors so rare they were once considered supernatural. And near the end, I will tell you about a discovery that overturned what scientists spent decades assuming about why eye color exists at all. Stay until the end. The answer is not what anyone expected. Brown. Nearly 8 in 10 people on Earth have it, and because it is everywhere, it gets dismissed. Called plain. Called the boring default. Evolution disagrees. The melanin in a brown iris absorbs close to 99% of UV radiation before it can reach the light-sensitive cells at the back of your eye. That is not aesthetics. That is a biological defense system running inside your face every second you are in sunlight without any effort on your part. Every other color in this video is a mutation away from brown, a deviation, an experiment. Brown is what human vision was optimized to be. But here is what most brown-eyed people never hear. Researchers in Czech Republic showed students 80 photographs of strangers, 40 men, 40 women, and asked them to rate each face on trustworthiness alone. Brown-eyed faces ranked highest, not because of the eye color itself, because of the face shape that tends to travel with it. Softer brow structure, slightly fuller lower lids. The color and the face move as one package, and most people cannot separate them in the moment. The result? You are often the person handed authority without a conversation, the one called when something needs to actually get done. Not because you announced yourself, because your face already did. The trade-off is visibility. Brown eyes absorb light rather than reflecting it. Less readable. People feel grounded around you, but they often cannot tell what you are actually thinking. That kind of opacity, used well, works like gravity. You do not notice it until something starts moving toward it. The color that came next nearly broke the entire genetic rulebook. Every blue-eyed person alive today traces back to one human being. Not one tribe, not one region, one individual. Around 8,000 years ago, somewhere along the Black Sea coast, a single mutation in a gene called OCA2 switched off dark pigment production in the iris. And for the first time in 300,000 years of human history, someone's eyes were not brown. Before that moment, blue eyes did not exist anywhere on Earth. But here is the stranger layer underneath that fact. Blue eyes contain no blue pigment. None. What you are looking at is physics. An iris with almost no melanin scatters short blue wavelengths outward, while letting longer ones pass straight through. The same mechanism that makes the sky appear blue. The same reason the atmosphere is the color it is. Your eye color is the sky. A beautiful 8,000-year-old optical illusion. Then ancient DNA from early European skeletons changed the entire scientific picture. For years, the assumption was that blue eyes and pale skin evolved together, two adaptations to low sunlight northern environments. Then, researchers found blue eyes is the genetic record of people who also had deeply pigmented dark skin, early Europeans living thousands of years before skin lightening became common. Blue eyes did not arrive with pale skin. Blue eyes arrived before it, independently, completely. That single finding rewrote the evolutionary timeline. Studies consistently find that strangers read blue-eyed people as more sensitive, more innocent, more emotionally open, regardless of truth. Something in the visual signal activates a protective response in observers, which sits awkwardly against the historical record. The populations most associated with blue eyes built some of the most aggressive maritime empires in human history. The eyes said soft. The people were not. Have people ever underestimated you because of how your eyes read before getting to know you? Now we enter rare territory. The next color exists in less than 2% of the world, and every culture that encountered it disagreed on whether it was a gift or a threat. Green eyes require at least 16 genes working in precise balance. Too much melanin? Brown. Too little? Blue. A slight excess of a yellow pigment called lipochrome, amber. Green requires all of it in a ratio so precise that most genetic combinations miss and land somewhere else. Only 2% of the global population hits the window. In a room of 100 people, 2 have green eyes. The other 98 are statistically looking at them and cannot fully account for the pull. Here's why. Green eyes are among the most visually dynamic eye colors because changes in lighting can dramatically alter how they appear. In dim light, they deepen toward olive or moss. In direct sunlight, they shift toward gold-green or emerald. Near cool-colored surfaces, they pale toward gray-green. People who spend time around green-eyed individuals often describe their eyes as changing color with mood. They are observing something real. They are just wrong about the cause. It is not emotion. It is pigment chemistry responding to the light. The result is an eye color that resists being pinned down. And humans are wired to keep looking at things they cannot fully process. Medieval Europe called green eyes a mark of witchcraft. Greek mythology assigned them to figures with extraordinary power. Modern attraction research ranks them among the most desired eye colors in the world. 3 eras, 3 explanations, 1 shared response. There is something about those eyes I cannot name. Rarer than green, and the signal it sends is something researchers describe as instinctively commanding. Gray eyes contain even less melanin than blue eyes. Less than blue. In blue eyes, scattered light concentrates in the shorter blue wavelengths, producing a vivid tone. In gray eyes, the scattering spreads across a broader range, washing the color out into something neutral, flat, metallic, like still water before the sun hits it. Less than 3% of the global population. What gray eyes do in social situations is specific and consistent across studies. They make people uncertain. Not uncomfortable, not charmed, uncertain. The gaze carries no obvious warmth signal, no shimmer, no easy read. Some studies suggest gray-eyed individuals are often perceived as intelligent and controlled, but in a way that keeps others slightly cautious. The common internal read when someone holds a gray-eyed stare: I cannot tell if they are calm or if they have already made a decision I do not know about yet. Stillness as communication. You do not need to announce your position. The absence of visible reaction becomes the statement. Now, the chameleon. The one eye color that is genuinely, measurably different every single time you look at it. Hazel eyes are the most misread color on this list. People reliably report them changing with mood. The real explanation is both simpler and more interesting. Hazel eyes layer moderate melanin with traces of lipochrome, the yellow pigment. Because these two compounds respond differently to different light sources, the eye genuinely shifts tone across environments. Indoors under warm light, it reads brown. In outdoor sunlight, the yellow activates and pulls toward green or gold. Near cool colors, it fades lighter. The eye is not reacting to emotion. It is reacting to the room, but the shift is real. Research on iris pigmentation and visual performance found that this intermediate melanin level correlates with faster adaptation between bright and dim environments. A measurable advantage. Not dramatic, but consistent. These eyes were not built for one setting. They were built to adjust across all of them. Socially, that adaptability reads as expressiveness. Hazel-eyed people are consistently perceived as emotionally present and responsive, but also variable, hard to predict. Here is what tends to happen. People project their own emotional state onto hazel eyes more than any other color. What someone thinks they see in you often reflects what they carried into the room, far more than anything you are actually expressing. Now, we leave the melanin spectrum entirely. The next color is driven by a completely different compound, one far more common in predators than in people. Amber eyes are the biological outlier on this list. Every other color involves melanin as the primary variable. Amber eyes are different. Their color comes mainly from a pigment called lipochrome, the same compound found in significant concentrations in the eyes of wolves, eagles, owls, and large cats. Not a comparison, the same compound. The same biochemical origin. And here is what makes amber unlike every other color. It does not change. Brown shifts subtly with conditions. Green shifts dramatically. Hazel is in constant motion. Amber stays. A fixed, burning gold in direct sun, dim indoor light, and overcast sky alike. The color is total. The fixed intensity of amber eyes may contribute to the perceptions of alertness and intensity, a gaze that reads as fully present regardless of the situation. Evolutionary researchers believe amber eyes spread more through mate selection than any survival advantage. They were not a better tool for seeing, they were a signal, something that made other people stop moving and look. At the extreme end of the melanin spectrum, what we call black eyes do not technically exist. What does exist is more powerful than black ever could have been. There is no such thing as a truly black iris. What appears black is an extreme concentration of melanin, dense enough that the boundary between iris and pupil disappears entirely. No visible edge, just a single dark field that absorbs almost all incoming light. The UV protection is the strongest of any eye color. In regions with the highest solar intensity, equatorial Africa, South and Southeast Asia, this is not a cosmetic feature, it is the human eye running at its evolutionary limit. Here is the social dynamic that almost never gets discussed. The pupil is one of the main ways humans read each other in real time. Dilation signals attraction, fear, excitement. Involuntary, nearly impossible to suppress or fake. In very dark eyes, the pupil cannot be tracked by the naked eye. The signal disappears. When observers cannot read that signal, they fill the gap, and the inference almost always moves in one direction: depth, control, authority. Not because of anything the person did, because the eye reveals nothing and the brain reads deliberate opacity as intentional power. Your eyes make people lean forward. What people have to work for, they remember. And now, the discovery I promised at the beginning, the one that overturned what scientists spent decades assuming. Scientists long assumed eye color diversity evolved for environmental reasons: UV levels, latitude, light availability, color as biological function shaped by geography. Then, population genetics found a problem with that model. Think about what that actually means. Eye color variation spread faster and across more genetically distinct populations than environmental pressure alone could explain. The numbers did not add up. Something else was driving the spread: sexual selection. Rare traits moving through population, not because they help people survive, but because they made people look, stop, choose. Every non-brown eye color in this video may exist today not because it was useful, but because it was impossible to look away from. Your ancestors survived. Then they were chosen. And the way they were chosen is written in the color of your eyes. Heterochromia is what happens when pigment distribution does not reach both eyes equally, two different colors, or a single iris divided between zones, or one arc of unexpected color cutting through an otherwise uniform eye like light through cracked stone. Less than 1% of the global population. The human brain runs an automatic symmetry check on every face it encounters. Both eyes match or mismatch. Heterochromia fails the check. The brain flags it as something requiring additional attention, sustained, involuntary, and resistant to suppression. You do not just get noticed, you get looked at again, multiple times, without the person deciding to. Across every recorded civilization that encountered it, heterochromia was called something beyond ordinary. Different cultures, no shared knowledge, the same conclusion. Those eyes mean something. They were right about the significance, wrong about the source. You are an involuntary plot twist in every room you enter. And fixation, in the social world, is power. Here is what every color on this list has in common. None of it happened to you. It happened for you. Brown held through thousands of years of equatorial sun. Blue emerged from one mutation and swept through a continent, not because it helped people survive, but because people could not stop choosing it. Green balanced on a genetic edge for generation after generation. Gray commanded without raising a voice. Hazel adapted to everything and committed to nothing. Amber made people stop and look. Dark eyes absorbed 10,000 years of sunlight without flinching. And heterochromia broke the pattern entirely and made the world stare. When you look in a mirror, you are not looking at a color. You are looking at a record of where your people went, what they survived, what made them worth choosing. Thousands of years of migration, survival, and selection compressed into the color of your eyes. Now you know what it says. If this changed how you see yourself, subscribe. This channel breaks down the hidden science of how humans read each other. New video every week. Drop your eye color in the comments. Let's see what's dominant here. See you in the next one.